today we're really excited to have a little bit of a different style presentation, but we have Richard Gentile, who I was introduced to through Mike Kavanaugh, who's been an avid participant in Funders and Founders and a personal friend of mine for nearly a decade. But in any case, Richard is going to talk about Santa for a Day, which is a really cool not-for-profit that he founded. So he's going to give a little bit of his background as well as the story of Santa for a Day, and tell everybody here how they can get involved and be a part of the Santa for a Day community. And I know he's also going to play a video and maybe share a quick PowerPoint deck as well. So with that, Richard, take it away. The floor is yours. We typically go for 15 or 20 minutes, and then people can ask questions. Again, obviously our audience is a little smaller today, but hopefully a few more people trickle in. So
yeah, and really quick too, I know we're recording this as well, so we'll make sure everybody sees this if they're not here right now, whether it be the holiday or not. We'll make sure everybody gets this via email, and then we'll try to have that. We'll talk to Michael about getting this sent out through the Entra app as well, so that way we can blast out the message to a big audience too. So
cool,
great.
Take it away.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Hey everybody, thanks for having me first of all. And yeah, what it's about is a charity that I thought about 20 years ago, and it's been 20 years in the making. And we launched it in 2018, and I'll tell you that story about it. But it's Santa for a Day, and what we do is we fulfill letters to Santa from disadvantaged kids in the city. And our model is we partner with the housing authority in each city to make sure we're reaching our target. And we started in Chicago. Then we added Milwaukee and Detroit. And now this year we're adding 3 more cities, Philly, Boston, and Atlanta. Next year we'll be in 10 and then 20 in 2022. But that's the gist of it. Let me just play a quick video for you that gives you a sense of the kids, and then we can go through the how it all works. So let me see if I can figure this out. And I think I got it.
Dear Santa, I've been a good girl.
Looking to make a difference in a needy child's life? What better occasion than Christmas?
I asked Santa for Barbie house, a robot, a football, some perfume. I want a Lamborghini.
Thousands of children will write a letter to Santa only to awake Christmas morning to nothing.
A lot of kids don't have the opportunity to have wishes and to have some of their wishes come true.
But you can change that. You can make their dreams come true on Christmas morning. And here's how. Go to santafораday.net. Browse letters, buy gifts, or simply let Santa decide.
Thank you for being Santa for a Day. Thank you for being Santa for a Day.
Visit santafораday.net and use this opportunity to provide some real hope. Make a difference. Be Santa for a Day.
So that's the gist of it. And, that component, I think what makes us different is that literacy component. You guys hear me okay?
yeah.
Oh, okay, I had some kind of feedback, sorry. So, the kids writing the letter, it's different than Toys for Tots or just giving these kids gifts. They learn the power of the pen. They, when you're a kid, it's to have your wishes fulfilled, I think provides hope. It helps them author a more positive outlook on life. And I came upon this idea 20 years ago. I was mailing out gifts downtown Chicago at the main post office on December 23rd, of course. And even back then, 20 years ago, there was nobody there. But they used to put these letters out on a table, and anybody could take them and fulfill them. And on the 23rd, I looked at the guy and I said, how many letters are over there? He goes, 10, maybe 12,000. And I said, how many get answered? He said, maybe 100. And it just, 20 years ago, my kids were young. And so I had that magic in the house, that magic of wishing for things and they come true. And it just saddened me to think that, you know, these kids wrote these and they're not going to be fulfilled. So really it was about, and I think because I was in the post office, you know, it drove it home that it's about reintroducing Santa to today's world. And so that's what I, on the way home, thought about. How do we do that? And it was simple, you know, on the internet, create a site that connects retailers with people with disposable income and needy kids, you know, and how do we do that? And so we did it, and we actually were greenlit by the post office 20 years ago. And then of course, you know, with the bureaucracy, it was greenlit, then it was put on hold, then it was canceled, then they started it again, then they called me 2 years later, said, will you do it? Long story short, they never came through. And 3 years ago, Danny Davis, congressman here in Illinois, loved the idea, and he championed it and connected me with the housing authority. And that's how we got to where we are. So briefly, what it is, and simply is, let me see if you're seeing this full screen. Are you seeing that deck?
Yep.
All right. I'm not very good at this, so I apologize for the the delay. So, you know, when you think about, you know, where we're at as a country, you know, we're in an odd time. But the reality is the communities we serve have been hit harder than anybody. You know, COVID, I think, has impacted us all, but it's actually absolutely ravaged these communities. And for them, you know, rather than a joyful time, I think Christmas can be a stressful time. And so now more than ever, I think they need our help. And so Santa for a Day, I think, is a great solution for it. And I think what people love is the simplicity of it. You know, as I said, it's got two really important goals. One, the literacy component, and two is providing hope. And so with doing this via SantaForAday.net, you know, we can leverage the goodwill and allow people to do it at an accelerated pace. Within 2 clicks, you can search for a gift, you can read a letter, you can just donate money. And we're a 501c3. As I said, it's all SantaForAday.net is how they do it. And here's how it works. So they write a letter to Santa, and this is pre-COVID. Now it's a little more, it's tricky navigating it because of the limited access you have to the kids. But as I said, we partner with the housing authority. They coordinate with the kids because all the kids' information has to be protected, obviously. They write a letter. The housing authority enters the data onto our site. We get the letters, we redact it all. We put it on our site. We partner with Amazon.com. And there's a process where, you know, we identify what each kid gets asked for 3 gifts. You know, and Johnny wants a red fire truck. Well, which red fire truck is it? That's where we will go on Amazon, identify which partner it is, which red fire truck it is, take the ASIN number, tie it to the kid's name, who's now a number, so that we don't have access to it either. And we only know the head of the household. And then we tie it, people can go online. As I said, you can read the letters, fulfill a letter, you can search gifts. It's like a wedding registry, or you can just donate money. And so that all gets synced up. All the gifts, because we can't give Amazon access to the data, all the gifts get shipped directly to us here in Evanston. And so we have 6 cities here because of COVID. And then we get the gifts, we identify, okay, it's for this household. We wrap it up, we put a sticker on it. Usually there's 2 or 3 kids in each family. We package them up by family, and then we deliver it to each city's housing authority. And then they normally would have a gift giving party, or about half of them, you know, we encourage this, that they just take the gifts and put it under the tree, so the kids have that magic of Christmas. Some of the families rather attend a party and everybody comes, and it's great. We involve the local teams. My background is network sports. I was a producer and director at CBS Sports in New York for 12 years. And so I have good ties and relationships with the leagues, and I've gotten both the NFL and the NBA on board to support this at the local level, because we need to grow it to scale for them to take it as a league-wide initiative. But so they're on board, and they're asking each team in each city to join with us, meet with us. We've gotten ESPN on board. We've gotten Google on board. Google is going to match all employee donations this year for us, which is really phenomenal. And they've donated a lot of internal resources to help us get the word out on a national level. So as I said, we started in Chicago, we added the Milwaukee and Detroit, and now we added Atlanta, Philly, and Boston, all NFL, all NBA cities. This year, we hope to fulfill, pre-COVID, we were going to do 15,000. I think we'll get just over 10,000 letters this year. Not what we had hoped, but still pretty good. And so, as I said, we're growing quickly because we have to get to scale for the leagues. So anyway, that's where we're at right now. Let me see if I can figure out how to unshare that screen.
Richard, what are some of the other cities? I mean, obviously, it sounds like you're going to go where there's NFL and NBA, but what are some of the other cities that you plan to add when you expand to 10 next year and 20 the year after that?
Yeah, next year we're adding Cleveland, DC, Dallas, and I think Pittsburgh. And then we also have signed up for the future Indianapolis, Baltimore, New York, and LA. How do I unshare that screen?
I think there should just be a stop sharing button, but I think you have to go back to the actual Zoom window to find that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's on the bottom. Just hit stop sharing.
Yeah, I don't have it. I don't see it. I don't know if you guys can do it, but go ahead if you can.
And Rich, let me know when you're ready for Pittsburgh. Little brother's on the Steelers, so I can get that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that'd be great. Yeah.
So that one's locked up when you need it.
Okay.
I'll be interested to, I guess.
The undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers.
Don't make me revel. I actually have to work today.
Where does he play?
Tight end. So hopefully he's actually getting called up from the practice squad for the first week this time with Vance somehow got COVID. So we'll see.
Oh, okay.
But I don't want that to be the reason he's getting called up. But, you know, he's been there for a year and a half, was with the Packers beforehand. So we'll see what happens. But, yeah, so that would be a good way to him to kind of get in touch with the community and be able to do that in Pittsburgh.
Cool. Thanks.
Well, Richard, I think it's a really great thing that you're doing. Does anybody else have any questions about Santa for a Day? I, of course, included that link, and again, I went to the website just during the thing, and I read a couple of the letters, which are really, really touching. You know, I'm reading one right now where a little girl wants to be a designer when she grows up, and so for Christmas, she wants Lego classic bricks, but that's a fashion designer studio in Legos. And it even says, P.S. I'm not a girly girl. I just think that's really funny. And that's an 11-year-old little girl from Chicago who wants to be a designer. That's really cool. Anyway, I just really think it's cool what you're doing. So yeah, I included the link, of course, in the chat there, but if anybody else has any other questions, you know, for Richard, I think that'd be great. It's a really cool organization that you've created.
So
I have a question. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I've got a question. I'm almost afraid to ask a question though, because I'm afraid I'm going to start crying because this is so incredible. I almost didn't come on this call, and I was like, I don't know thinking like, what am I going to get out of this? And I'm like, this is so amazing and so touching. What besides besides going on and buying a gift. And I read that too, Graham, and I was like, oh my God, that I'm not a girly girl. It's so great. I love how what you say about they're getting what they asked for. That's really cool. How do we share besides buying a gift? How can we help you to spread the word?
Well, I mean, there's a couple of different ways. We just started this year. We subscribed to a CRM software where they allow peer-to-peer funding. And so people that want to reach out to their networks, it's like when we used to say, hey, I'm running in a 10K. Can you sponsor me per mile? It all goes to St. Jude. Same kind of a thing where people can blast it out to their contacts and just create a funding page. And you have the ability to personalize it, put your own picture up there. Comes with a template, of course, but you can tweak the copy. That's one way people are doing it. So it's a nice way because we can get to so many different networks of people in that way. We're just, we have an agency that's doing some pro bono work for us. They came up with a great idea. They just pitched me before this call that I love. It's called Naughty Passes. And so people can buy Naughty Passes for somebody that did something like didn't change the toilet paper, or, tried to blame, they said, a fart on someone else, that didn't clean up after their dog. And so you can just buy it and it's tax deductible. And it's really neat little artwork that they can send to people and post on social. It's a fun way. So how we get that word out, I don't know, but we're thinking about different ways to create all of that. Mm. So if you're interested in the peer-to-peer, let me know. It'd be great. It's a really easy thing, and you just blast it out.
What's the value of the average gift that a kid asks for, Richard? I see that you've fulfilled almost 3,000 gifts to date, but what's the average value per gift?
The average, well, what they ask for and what we do is two different things. Sure. In terms of value. So we tell them, ask for 3 things you really need. And we try the housing authority tries to tell them, hey, if you ask for an iPhone, you're not going to get an iPhone. Of course, some kids still ask for an iPhone, but there's usually a mix, and we've gotten up to fulfilling 2 per letter. I don't know what it'll be this year, but last year we did. The average gift of what we're able to do is $50 per gift, which is not bad.
No.
Yeah. Wow. And our average donation is $108 per donation. And with it varies, because of, you get so many, it goes from $25 to, a few $1,000s people have given.
And with the focus of this kind of being driven to different cities and through the athletic organizations, I'm going to introduce you to the director of partnerships over at Stadia. They work with NFL Ventures, NBA Ventures, everything else there. I think that'd be a great way to get out to the sports world. And then a few of our partners within Funders and Founders have connections, and even one to Texas Rangers, Chargers, Vikings. So I'm looking at kind of seeing where within the sports teams and Funders and Founders are just like trickled on either investors or connections there, that we can just get the awareness out, because through the sports community would probably be the easiest path. So they'll be the ones, I think, the fastest one there, but we can see through what, Graham, have you talked to Paul Sorkin at all?
No, I wish Paul was on the call today.
I wish so too. I know one of their
person to get it in front of.
Yeah, I know San Diego's not on the list right now, but I know he's got something on that end. Another one I think would be great, because you could do something through the video platform, is our friend Mary over at Seastar. She's connected well with the Vikings up in Minnesota. Works with a lot of ex-athletes there. I will see what I can do, because maybe we could, even get some, just talk to this gentleman here, my buddy Partha. They're running kind of, they're doing e-commerce for medical grade ankle support socks. They've been donating to COVID healthcare workers, but there might be a way for, young athletic kids to get in on this, and or two, I know that they're backed by some of the owners of the Texas Rangers. So Sorry, guys. I'm just going nuts here. Like,
Yeah,
my print.
you got to be careful. You got to be careful, Richard. Once Phil gets going, your email box will be flooded with other good connections. As anyone who knows Phil knows, that's.
I can introduce you to Diana over at Wise Ventures. They're back. They're LPs. Agoji would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Wise Ventures, their LPs are owners in the Mets and the Yankees. So that's where I'm kind of looking at where we can trickle up, because obviously with Uncle Sam and everything else here, they're looking at it from two ways. One, generosity, and two, tax breaks. So hate to say that way, but a lot of things don't come with a little bit of self-interest.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm looking at how we can kind of publicize everything through the different connections within funders and founders. Trying to think the last one that was on my mind. My dear friend, actually since high school, runs kind of the Luxury Bucks Suites and is rather connected within Nashville with the Titans. So I can see what I can tap into there and give him a call later today. But I'm just looking kind of sports world is kind of where a lot of my personal interest lies. So I'm looking to see where we can kind of roll the sleeves up and get this rolling and try to see where. I know that we're focused on certain markets now, but you let me know when those introductions would be good in other markets that we're not targeting yet.
Yeah. And we target our markets on where our best opportunities are too.
Mm-hmm. No,
so, yeah.
Understood. I'm just trying to figure out.
We can add cities next year to those three as well.
So I'm just going to start with Stadia for this year because we're so close to the deadline. Yeah. But I wanted you to kind of have those on file and ping me. Maybe some of these e-commerce brands like Agoji or Lasso, I'm going to put them in touch and see if they'd be like, you know what, this is a great cause, love to do it, see how they can support, because they have actual products that be able to fit, you know, kind of younger athletes, or add them into maybe a couple boxes that people have, maybe another athletic gift they ask for. If they ask for, you know, baseball cleats or something like that, and you send them a pair of medical or ankle support socks with them. It's kind of where I'm trying to figure out how to get things for the next 45 days, if you may.
Richard, talk a little bit about the time frame, because I was actually a little surprised as we kind of prepared for this at how early some of this preparation happens. You're kind of in the thick of it already, right?
Yeah, this year, because of COVID, obviously, we had to move everything earlier, and we did it by, I think, 10 days, just to allow the housing authorities on the back end, because they're going to be challenged in how they deliver the gifts. Because normally, as I said, they have a party, and so they get a central location and everybody comes, all the residents. But this year they can't, so they have to deliver them personally to each building site.
So when will you actually be giving the gifts to the various housing authorities?
I'm sorry, what?
When will you actually be giving the gifts to the various authorities?
We just partnered with Uber. I should have said that as well. Uber Trucking. So I don't know if you're aware that they started an arm of transportation and trucking. And so they're going to truck everything from here to the other 5 cities, and obviously internally here at Chicago. They have to leave here. Chicago wants their gifts on the 12th. The other cities have to leave here the 10th. So what we'll do is people give late, typically. So we'll fulfill all the letters ourselves ahead of time, whatever's not, and then hopefully people will continue to donate to reimburse for those gifts. Whatever people buy is what the kids will get. But it's a crazy 7 days leading up to the thing, because people give late. They'll probably give a lot on the 4th and the 4th and 5th. And so from that, people are buying gifts, and so gifts are arriving on the 6th, and we got to get them identified, sorted to the city, wrapped up, boxed up, on a truck and out the 10th to the 12th. So it's a crazy week there right at the end. We're okay with 6 cities. I don't know what I'm going to do with 10.
You've also talked about expanding your operations to have another kind of hub, probably somewhere on the East Coast to service some of those other East Coast cities, right?
Like I said, we're okay with 6 cities. So I think the answer is about, we might do 6 or 7 here because, Minneapolis is 6-hour drive away and Cleveland's a 6.5-hour drive away. So we could add a couple here in Chicago. And then on the East Coast, we'll do another hub of 5 or 6 cities. And then we'll do another one out west, out there. So that'll be the way that we grow it. And we'll have just those 3 different hubs.
Understood. I think the last piece, guys, our friend Justin Breen was a journalist forever and now does big PR things with a lot of different ones. I think he'd be willing to donate his efforts into getting more publicity around it. He's actually lives in Chicago as well, so perfect kind of for this.
Oh, that'd be great.
So if you want to look into that, I'll introduce Justin and Stadia, and then Matt, if you want to reach out to Aaron at Agoji, I'll reach out to Partha at Lasso Gear. But I think if we can turn it around quickly, Stadia and Justin will be the best ones for just overall exposure versus, trying to get younger e-commerce brands to be able to actually be donating products.
No, for next year. I mean, they start thinking about this stuff in April, March.
Yeah. Understood.
That'd be great. Thanks.
Richard, I did have one question. I know you mentioned that people are kind of like sharing out their own campaigns. I know through that CRM that you mentioned. Do you have any examples of that you'd be able to share with the group? Just because I think that could be a pretty good call to action for people as well to take.
What do you mean right now? Share the screen? Or
or
email out?
Or email a link out. Or really like.
Yeah, I can email it out to everybody.
Okay.
It's an invite. You can take a look at it. It's super easy. And if it's something that you'd be willing to do, it'd be awesome. And no hard feelings if you don't. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, we'll definitely share some additional information with the rest of the community, including a link to the recording of today's Lunch and Learn session, but also more information to the rest of our community. We've got about 700 email addresses in total in the funders and founders community. And so we'll definitely push something out over the coming couple of weeks to ask them to donate and get involved. I'm filling out, a donation right now on the website myself. So,
thanks.
Thanks again for everything you do, Richard. If anybody else has any last questions for Richard about how to get involved or anything else, feel free to ask them. Otherwise, thanks everybody for coming today.
Thanks, Richard. That was awesome.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
Thanks, Richard.
All right. Thanks. I'll send you an email.